Case of celebrating for school children. Well, the schools are set to reopen this after the long December break. By the end of last year, thousands of Gauteng pupils had not yet been placed. So where are we now? Is it a nightmare or is it a dream come true for many of those thousands of pupils? Let's get the latest from Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi. MEC Lesufi, good to have you with us.
Good afternoon, Gareth. Are you well?
I am well. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And all of that to you. Is it a happy New Year, though, for thousands of students?
Yes, we've placed all learners. Remember, we had a challenge that majority of parents have chosen few of our schools, and those schools were oversubscribed. So what we did, we then spread those that applied to other schools that can accommodate them, and allowed parents that were not happy with the alternative placement to make an appeal. We are dealing with those appeals now. We're going case by case. So by the 15th of January, all those appeals will be attended to, and then we're then going to open for late registration, because, you know, people sometimes apply very late. And then we'll deal with late registration until the 21st of January. By end of January, we really believe that we would have placed all learners that need to be placed in our schools.
So one of the biggest issues then, it's not that the pupils can't necessarily be placed, by the sounds of it, as far as the appeals process is concerned, they can get into a school, but for whatever reason, the parents are appealing that alternate school. What are generally the reasons that they want to appeal? What happens?
Well, there are three main reasons. One is that they stay next to the school. Secondly is that they can afford the school fees of that school, so they have the right to choose that particular school. And the last, which is dominating in our appeal, is that other people that are coming from other areas have been taken, and I'm staying in the area have not been taken, because our qualifying criteria involves whether we've got a sibling at the school, or whether the subjects are the subjects that you want to follow. So it has some complications, but we'll unpack it when we explain it to parents. But for now, every learner that has applied in Gauteng has been placed in a school, but if parents are not happy with the school that we've placed them, we send them as appeal, and that's where we're dealing with appeal. I think we received almost around 700 appeals, and we're dealing with those appeals.
Oh, so 700 appeals, not as many as I think some critics would have suggested. So if that's what you're dealing with, it's not too bad. But unfortunately, the nightmare on your hands is going to be the late registration. It's always quite a bun fight, isn't it? But that just complicates the placing of children, isn't it?
It complicates everything, Gareth, to be quite frank. It's something that if we didn't have the constitutional obligation to do it, I will not do it, because the schools are reopening on the 15th, and people are applying on the 15th. And when you apply on the 15th, and I can tell you, last year we got almost close to 25,000 new applications, and that's 25 new schools. You have to get a teacher, you have to get a textbook, you have to get a desk, you have to get food, you have got transport. So logistically, it creates problems. But because education is a constitutional right, you can't shut the doors. We have to open up, and that is why we are opening up. But
I'm sure even beyond constitutionally, Panyaza Lesufi, you wouldn't want to deny a child in education, but the parents are to blame when it comes to late registration. Or is there a communication issue?
No. It's apparent. People leave things for the last minute. They just think that they will get what they wish, whether we like it or not, and that's the pressure. But there are other reasons that are valid. For example, parents have passed on, the child must come this side, or somebody got employment in Gauteng, and therefore they feel that they need to come here and get their children registered. But 80%, I can tell you, the reasons doesn't care. Those reasons don't carry water, and therefore we're just doing it for compliance, because, as we said, which child must stay at home and not be at school.
I can see you're a tired man. I think it's a tiring time of year for you. So just briefly, apart from the appeals, which you're dealing with, apart from the late registration, which you know is going to be a nightmare, as you and I sit here right now, all students in Gauteng have been placed, barring one or two exceptional issues.
Yes. Especially those that I said they wanted to go to Branston High. We've placed them at Sundown High, and they really feel Sundown High is not a quality school, and therefore they will appeal. Fortunately, they're appealing directly to my office. As we said, we're exhausted because we've been working ever since during the December holidays. So we're committing ourselves. Come the 15th of January, every parent will have a response on the appeal, and every parent will know whether their child will go to a certain school on the 15th of January.
All right, Panyaza Lesufi.
Thanks, Gareth. Thanks.
Thank you so much. As we continue to build